Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and welcome to your crash course on Tower of Fantasy. We're going to talk about everything you need to know for the game, such as game progression. We're going to talk about exploration, tier lists, character summons, how they work, and basically everything you need to know for the first week of the game. So let's go ahead and dig in. The first thing we're going to talk about is going to be the level limit. Now, if you weren't aware, there is a level limit on your progression as well as story progression caps in the game. So you're only going to be able to hit, for example, on day 1, a max level of level 18, and you're only going to be able to progress the story up to a certain point. Now, this goes all the way up to day 88, and it's going to completely increase as you do progress. So it'll become one of those things where you can get up to 1 level per day. And while this may seem a little bit different compared to a lot of the games you played before, I found it a little bit refreshing because you are able to focus on other aspects of the game that may be important to your character at the time, such as either fighting bosses, participating in daily events, or doing some of the daily missions that are available. So don't necessarily knock the limit that is placed on leveling and story progression, because the game is a lot more than that. Now, in terms of summons, there is a lot to know. We're going to first talk about the materials that are used for summons. So that's going to be dark crystals and orbs. So dark crystals are pretty important. This is the currency that you're going to be getting all throughout the game. And if you go to the commissary here, you will be able to exchange them if you go to the shop, you will be able to exchange them. That's in the upper right-hand corner. It's under the hot menu, as as unintuitive as this is. You will be able to exchange them for the different materials to pull, and that's going to be the proof of purchase, the special voucher, the red nucleus, and the gold nucleus. Now, personally, I would recommend pulling for the red nucleus because that's going to give you access to the limited banner. It's also going to give you access to Nemesis right now, who's one of the better characters. I have heard a case for a lot of people wanting to do the gold nucleus. Personally, I just think red nucleus is the way to go. I would never pull on these or this discounted one up here. I think these are kind of traps. I think you're going to get most of your matrices from actually doing the game content here. So when you actually pull up the summon menu, you'll notice you have gold orbs, you have black orbs, and then you have red orbs. So red orbs, as I just said, is the limited currency or the limited pulls. So Nemesis is a quote-unquote limited banner right now with a rate up, so you're going to get a red orb on this. You also have the gold orbs, which are like the orbs that you can get from exploring in the game. You also get black orbs, but the gold orbs are like the rare ones, and the black orbs are kind of like your free summons. If you want to switch to the black orb pulls, you can pop right over here. So that's why we kind of save the dark crystals. You want to exchange them mostly for the red orbs, particularly if you want to save up for a specific banner. Now, when you're coming through here and you're doing your pulls, a lot of people are wondering which weapons are the best. And a lot of people look for the tier list on the game. And I feel like it's a little crazy that we try and put a tier list on this game when most people are not going to be at the whale or Leviathan level for a tier list to even matter to them. So just going through the characters real quick, you can see we have Meryl up at the top, King down here, and we also have Samir right here. Those three are probably the most popular heroes right now if you can't get Nemesis, just because they're both King and Meryl are really good shield breakers, and Samir is one of the strongest DPS in the game. So these characters are going to carry for quite a while throughout the game's lifespan, so they're really good characters to pull for. Other characters I've heard good things about are Tsubasa. I've also really enjoyed Shiro myself as a support DPS and a shield breaker. Zero I've struggled with, but I don't really have a support team built in order to sustain Zero in my build. And I don't have access to Huma yet, but I have heard good things about Crow too. So Crow, really good DPS, Tsubasa, really good. So any of those are basically going to do you fine. Coco Ritter, if you have a healing build, is going to be fantastic. Basically, whatever you pull, you can probably make work. You're just going to have to think about it and put it together and kind of build a weapon composition that works for you. Personally, I really like the weapon classification chart that was put together by Citus on the Ada Cafe Discord, which isn't necessarily a tier list, but a focus focus and priority on a shield breaker, main DPS, and support DPS weapon. I think that's just a really good way to look at kind of the different weapon builds in the game, instead of just entirely going, you know, this weapon's better than all other weapons. So if you get the chance, head over to the Ada Cafe Discord or take a look at this document. It's not up to date for like the global version of the game. It's definitely for the CN version, but you can see it has some weapons on here we don't have. But you can also kind of use it to see like, oh yeah, King and Meryl are still pretty high on the shield breaker list, or, you know, Samir is up on the main DPS list. So it's going to be really helpful in terms of that capacity right there. Now, we talked about Dark Crystals, we talked about the summon system. If you are running into that level limit, if you are hitting that level limit in your first week, there is a lot to do. Personally, I would recommend exploring. Exploring is going to get you more Dark Crystals, and exploring is also going to unlock optional side quests for you. You can see here I have Astra at 100% exploration, and you have a whole bunch of different things you can get here. Important to note is you do want to grab these mushrooms. So these mushrooms are going to be basically what gives you max endurance, essentially, or your climbing prowess. So you can see that Banges has them as well. It's going to increase my endurance. So make sure you're at least exploring to grab these mushrooms. You can see I also have gold orbs over here that I need to get. You have scenic points, you have space rifts, you have an omnium tower, you have world exploration supply pods. All of these things are going to give either summons and dark crystals simultaneously. So you're going to be able to build your composition. The game does reward quite often exploration. So make sure you do this. If you haven't looked at the other resources that I've offered on my other videos, there is an interactive map that you can use as well. We also have it pinned in my Discord, which will give you access to where all the scenic points are, where all of the items are, so that you can kind of go through the list and find them. And of course, these blue exclamation marks are going to be subquests as well. They do offer EXP. Some of them offer items and recipes, which can be helpful. And then, of course, there's a variety of food items all across the map. Now, you do get access to dailies pretty early on, and particularly in your first week, the dailies aren't going to be very big. You are going to have like daily bounty. That's going to be, for example, on my map here. If I pull up my map, oh my God, where's the M key? You can see these purple icons right here. You can see that I would get a black orb from completing this, which is going to be great because that's basically a free summon. I'm also going to get some items. I have another one over here for Zolt, which will give me a gold orb. So you are going to want to do these every day. And this is very generous, I think, of them, because you do get a certain amount of summons from these every day. So this should be on your list to do every single day, right as you are starting out the gate, and you'll unlock them relatively quick. Pretty much everything in the recommended category you're going to want to do. Mia's Kitchen, definitely go here. It's a fast way to get EXP and items. You just come in, taste, they're going to give you a little bit of a buff, and it's going to fill your satiety, which is going to be really good. You're also going to get here golden EXP, which is going to be great. So you want to make sure to do this every day. Then you have the ruins. So the ruins are basically like dungeons that you can run through once, and you can get special items for them. You can also get relics from them. So you do want to go through and do every single ruin that you do have access to. They have different difficulties. So you can see I have access to, for example, ruins A2 normal right now, and I'm going to get some relic upgrade materials. They also start giving equipment when you do progress a little bit further into the game, so keep that in mind. And you're going to want to do these ASAP because they do give you a bunch of relics. And if you aren't familiar with what a relic is, it does teach you in the game. That would be like your jetpack or the missile launcher, or potentially like knockback, or the robot arms, right? These are all the things that are going to kind of aid you in combat as well as aid you in world exploration, and you can upgrade them, and the ruins does have really good items for that. So they're once playthroughable dungeons that give you really good benefits. Now, if you are progressing around your third or fourth day, you are going to start unlocking joint operations, dimensional triers, interstellar explorations, omnium beacons here you can see. And at level 29, I'm going to unlock space-time domains. Now, all of these under the select are going to take what's called vitality up here in the upper right hand corner. Now, the vitality is pretty valuable. Personally, I found joint operations right now to be the best use of it. And I would also watch out, because if you're really close to leveling up, for example, so for example, you'll notice there is a level 31 dungeon here, and you'll notice that it gives better gear, it gives better equipment, it just seems better overall. Difficulty level 1 goes from a blue and a green to all of a sudden I have a chance to get purple matrices and equipment. So you just want to be careful that, like, if you're going to be playing the next day and your level limit's going to increase, that you are saving your vitality for the higher level dungeon. Also, I would definitely, as soon as you get to level 25, get into the difficulty level 2 dungeon as fast as possible to get some equipment, because that's going to give you a lot of equipment, a lot of stats, a lot of survivability. It's really going to help your character. So get in there, start doing this right away. Now, if you are kind of reaching the higher levels, potentially, you may, around level 43, you may start seeing an item like this in your inventory, which people may or may not know about. It is called the Joint Supply Chip. This is actually going to give you 3 buffs to increase your drop rate for master level equipment. And ultimate level equipment. So make sure you save these joint supply chips, because these are going to be very good in the future when you are doing joint supply missions. You are going to get a few of them naturally, and they're going to be very good at kind of managing your stats for you. Now, we've kind of gone through joint operations. We've talked about dailies a little bit. There are some more dailies you do want to get done here. So if you come down here to challenge missions, you do have training missions. So you can do 1 training mission from each of these categories every day. And you get a certain amount of training points, which you can trade at the point shop, which will give you access to special gifts to awaken or raise the awakening level of your characters. You also have access to Bygone Phantasm by about your 4th or 5th day. Now, Bygone Phantasm, a lot of people should do. This is basically a competitive leaderboard, tower style content is how I would consider it, where you climb up a certain amount of floors, you're timed, and the top 100 people or the top 1,000 people, however it is, get a certain reward at the end of the week, depending on where they placed and how many floors that they've gone up. So I've noticed a lot of people haven't been competing in the Bygone Phantasm. So please make sure that you do this right away, because it's definitely going to give you a lot. Now, completing your weeklies may seem like a no-brainer. Particularly, though, if you're starting at the beginning of the week, we believe weekly reset is going to be on Wednesday. You do want to get these done, because the weekly rewards do give you access to tier 3 chips. Now, a lot of people are probably wondering what tier 3 chips are. Tier 3 chips, which you'll see up here, type 3 chip right there. These let you unlock puzzle boxes across the map. Now, the tier 3 specifically is for boss encounters. So, for example, the first boss encounter is Robarg, and he does have a potential capability to drop King's Matrix. He also has a potential to drop a random SSR weapon. And having access to these Type 3 chips is what enables you to open the chest and have an enhanced chance at rewards. Now, I don't know if you can get the King Matrice or potentially the weapon without these. I haven't seen confirmation of that. I just know it enhances the rewards that the chest drops. But I do know if you don't have these chips, you get what's called like participation friend points, essentially. And you can spend those in another shop, which you may want to do. I didn't really think there was anything worth it in that shop to chase, but it's definitely something to think about if you are running out of things to do and wondering what else to do for the rest of the week if you are waiting on your level limit. Other than this, though, that's pretty much everything I have for you guys. This is kind of, again, that crash course for the first week of the game. Hopefully this helps you guys. I am a new Tower of Fantasy content creator, guys, so please share out my videos. I am new. I'm getting into this. I'm just learning, and I would love to get the word out there and help as many people as possible. So thank you so much, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.